Welcome to Beers, Business, and Balls, presented by House Enterprise and brought to you by Manscaped. Use the code HOUSE at checkout and you get 20% off your order and free shipping around the world. And sponsored by the DraftKings Sportsbook. Head over to the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Use the code BBB. You get some bonus bets to use on whatever you so please. Super Bowl coming up, or the big game, I should say. The big game is around the corner. Head on over to the DraftKings Sportsbook. Make those bets. We'll talk about our picks, courtesy of the DraftKings Sportsbook, later on in episode 153. I feel like there's a lot to catch up on. I mean, we did have our first episode back from a little hiatus last week, but that was not in our virtual setup. That was in person. So we're back.
Yeah,
the microphone's set up and everything.
No offense to that setup. The mic quality was a little bit off.
I actually thought it was good at the end of the day.
All right. Well, I guess I'll go fuck myself.
It came out good. It came out much better than we thought it would.
Than expected? Yeah, we went through a lot of trials and tribulations before we went live. But
I guess the first order of business, if you're wondering, if you did not watch the Morbid BBB episode, which you should do, we have a third voice on this show. I feel like we just sort of brushed over introducing you here last week, but we don't have a drum roll sound effect. But welcome to Clubfoot Jim, who has joined the crew.
Yeah, thank you. I'm starting off hot with the hard F-bomb. But glad to be here. I've been friends with you guys for a while, been a fan of the pod for a while, and glad to now be a voice and have a contributing opinion on what's going on. So, happy to be here.
You also pinch hit when, was it the 6th episode ever?
I had my tonsils out.
Yep, it was like April 2020. Will had his tonsils out, and I did the emergency BBB
baseball pod
when
that
baseball was announced.
24th, 2020.
June, okay.
That was the 12th episode we have ever done. I was just fiending for someone to talk about the end or the return of baseball.
Yeah, I also predicted the Dodgers to go. I predicted the Dodgers to have at least 50 wins that season. That did not end up being the case.
They won the World Series, though.
They did. Wow. I guess if you
Mouse
factor in postseason wins. Yes.
Clayton Kershaw got his fucking Mickey Mouse ring.
He got his Mickey Mouse contract a couple days ago.
Speaking of that, though, I honestly thought Clayton Kershaw was washed. I looked at his stats, like he's still pretty solid.
No, he's like really good, actually.
I think after they were making all these moves, I'm like, Clayton Kershaw, like he'll either retire or he'll do 1 year with the Rangers or whatever. It's like, why do the Dodgers need him? And then it's like, oh shit, he had like 13 wins with a 2.4 ERA last year. Like that's still pretty solid for a 37-year-old.
Yeah. Wild. And he, 13-5, 2.46 ERA. The year before, he had a .94 WHIP. He went 12-3.
So I don't know if you guys saw that video that went viral a while ago on like TikTok, Reels, whatever. There was a Diamondbacks Dodgers game, and it was supposed to be Randy Johnson. Was it versus Greinke or was it Maddox? I think it was Greinke.
I don't know. No. It was Randy Johnson versus Maddox, but I think both missed the start.
Exactly.
So it was Verlander and Greinke. Or something like that.
No, it was Scherzer Kershaw.
Scherzer Kershaw, sorry.
Yeah, Scherzer Kershaw.
Yes.
Yeah, it was, it went from two old legends that we all love at this point to, at that point, we had no idea who they were. And, the rest is history, which is like a really, really cool video.
Yeah, I always forget Scherzer was a Diamondback.
Yeah, for a hot minute, before he went to Detroit after that.
D-Town.
Yeah,
I mean, the Dodgers.
Perfect game. Did he throw that in Washington?
Yes.
Probably Washington.
Yeah, it was probably Washington.
Or did he even have one? Am I confusing that with somebody?
So he had that almost perfect game versus the Pirates.
Oh, fuck. Yeah, he has.
He does not have a perfect game. Yep, and he lost it to, out of all people, Jose Tabata. when he
I
leaned into a
remember him,
pitch.
former Yankee. They were playing the Pirates, and
Yep.
he leaned into it. I was actually at Testy's house watching that game. I remember that very clearly. Slides Gaming for those in the house community.
Slides Gaming.
Fuck, that sucked. That was an awful. Everybody's watching. Probably 12 or 13 people watching that game. That would have been a really cool one.
Yeah, they had that cut to ESPN. When ESPN cared about baseball, they had the cut to like the perfect game watch. And as a Met fan, I'm going to hit you with this right now. As a Met fan, I felt bad for Max Scherzer. So
wow,
I know, big deal.
We'll get into. I mean, baseball is pitchers and catchers does report in a week time. We still have a lot of names, so maybe that'll be next week's episode. We can hit some baseball topics because football is definitely the bread and butter this weekend, even though it's two teams that people are furious about, which it's still the Super Bowl. Like, it could be the worst two teams playing, and like, I wouldn't care. It's still the Super Bowl.
Listen, I think I've sat with this a lot. Here's my take. The gut reaction to this Super Bowl is, I don't give a fuck about either team. Well, this sucks. This is a bad Super Bowl. Maybe I'm just corrupted.
I'm sorry. If your team isn't in it, you shouldn't give a fuck about either team.
That's
anyway.
The point. Yeah.
Like, who cares?
It's
like I remember.
fully support it.
I remember as a kid, like my birthday was always like the Pro Bowl weekend, and like this was the back when it used to be like the first weekend in February, and then they moved it again because they
went to the 16-game season. Yeah,
but every birthday I always got a Super Bowl, someone on the Super Bowl jersey. So I had like a Marshawn Lynch jersey, I had a Troy Polamalu jersey, I had a Drew Brees jersey, obviously the two Giants ones. Like, that was like a gift I got as a kid, which was always pretty cool. And it's like, you don't care. It's like some of the best players are playing. It's always a good game, besides like the Broncos Panthers dud.
It sounds like you had the greatest childhood ever.
It was
you just kept having jerseys given to you.
Back when the Pro Bowl mattered too.
True.
Back when the Pro Bowl mattered.
Yeah, it wasn't flag football.
Yeah, I can't believe it. This was one of those weeks where it's like, I did not see any content come out of the Pro Bowl except Eli Manning facing Super Hot Fire. That was the only video I saw.
I thought Baker Mayfield won the MVP through like a repost of a TikTok.
I figured that out from you saying that right now.
Yeah, well, breaking news. Baker Mayfield won the Pro Bowl MVP.
I didn't even know how the layout was. Yeah, the three videos I saw was the Eli Manning with Super Hot Fire. I saw Jason Kelsey trying to do the long snap competition, and he was just like, I never want to get into the crowd. Yeah, he's like, I never want to get into the crowd.
That's actually the one piece of content I saw, is that Donna Kelsey was there, and it threw me for a huge loop. I'm like, well, Travis obviously is not there. Is Jason suiting up for this?
And then I saw Dan Orlovsky do the precision passing competition, and then he outscored every single quarterback that actually was involved.
Because he gives more of a shit than any of those guys do, and we can't.
But he was like, he was in a shirt and tie, tucked in shirt and tie, dress shoes, dress pants, and like he still missed a ton, but scored like 16 points, which was the highest score.
There's part of me that thinks Dan Orlovsky thinks that he can still play, so that was like a tryout.
There's a lot of me that thinks he can still play.
Yeah, I mean, UConn legend. So,
yeah, he's the pride of Shelton, Connecticut. So
he is. Yeah, my hometown.
Who was the quarterback a couple years ago that ran out of the end zone, or was it this past year? And he said, "Finally, I'm free."
It was Jimmy G a year or two ago, and it might have been Gardner Minshew this year.
It did happen again.
Yeah,
but yeah, it made the fact that he did it on the 0-16 Lions was just like icing on the cake of how shitty that season was. But yeah, that's tough.
It was Gardner Minshew. Yeah, back in September.
Future Giants quarterback Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, legendary backup.
Yeah. No, I mean, my mission for all of these podcasts and everything we do to house is always to wear some type of house merch. And of course, my favorite piece that I've ever made.
Yeah.
Is that the Tommy DeVito?
Yeah. A couple of Italian Jersey Italians, and Tommy DeVito was my Linsanity for 3 weeks. That was my Roman Empire.
What a fall from grace. Everybody's like, wow, is this guy good? And then everybody woke up and like, no, of course he sucks. Like, obviously he's very bad.
It wasn't him. It's just like the team sucked.
I think him sucking didn't help, but
I
No.
mean, he took us out of contention for Drake May and Jaden Daniels. So I'm a little pissed. But hey,
it seems
he's
like
got his own. He's got his own sauce now.
And eventually we'll do the draft and stuff. We'll bring back Laube and hopefully his cousin. It's his cousin, right? Dylan
Laube, House Enterprise
I
athlete.
thought Dylan was his brother. Okay.
No,
Cousin.
Not immediate nuclear family, but
Got it.
maybe we'll be talking about him in the first.
I mean,
round,
he's
but I
been
think-
blown up on TikTok. I sent that to you guys earlier this week.
I know. Everybody's like, wow, I remember him in Sons of Anarchy.
He's gonna be a 6th-round pick that makes like surprises a couple teams afterwards. They're like,
He's
who is
like
this kid?
he seems like a Jim Harbaugh guy.
Yeah. Well, what he really seems like is a Bill Belichick guy. That's
Right, but Zimmer, he's unemployed at the moment. So
why is he? You're thinking Jim Harbaugh because of like Chargers powder blue, and you're thinking like Danny Woodhead.
I'm exactly thinking Danny
I
Woodhead.
know.
Yep, yeah. I'm a victim of the moment. Yep.
Yeah, you're like something about just a fast white guy in a powder blue jersey. It's like,
White guy.
There's
is
a
just
number
like-
in the 30s. You're like, God, he looks so good with wearing 39 on the Chargers.
Yeah, he looked.
I mean,
yeah.
It works though because like the Chargers have no money, so they're gonna have to like draft a ton of guys that just will have to play.
Yeah, they're fucked. They're real fucked.
Yeah, they also need. I don't know. We can get into this later, but
we'll do the whole draft thing. We will bring back Laube. We'll bring back whoever wants to be a part of it. That was fun.
Yeah, I mean, I remember I sold my soul last year on Bijan Robinson going to the Chargers, and he got taken way before that.
Yes, he did. Who was our 5th? Was it Basil in that? I think it was.
Basil. Yeah, it was Basil.
Well, we're gonna have a fun
Basil
for that. The long-anticipated return of Jimothy will be back.
Jimothy, yeah, I know.
Unreal. So to start, well, firstly, a great guest today, Megan Lanham from Rithmm. Who, if you're not on Rithmm, you should be. No free ads for Rithmm here, but really cool AI sports betting app that can help you make your plays this weekend. And you can take them to places like the DraftKings Sportsbook and some of our other partners and just play them. So we have a really insightful discussion with Megan Lanham today on all things Rithmm, and super cool background, was a women's basketball coach, went through the ranks in corporate America, and then met a data scientist at a bar and pitched her idea. And that's your little teaser for that. Let's go into beers. We talked a bit in person about the Rhode Island Brew Fest. Really good time. Always is. I still stand by it that I think there were less vendors than previously. And also, God help us, no renewal by Anderson this year. You couldn't get a quote for your windows while you were drinking 90 beers. This is the first year they weren't there since we've been going. How sad.
I mean, the window.
I always love when you turn that corner and you're like, fuck, I'm at renewal by Anderson. I need to like step this up a little bit.
No, yeah, you need to like drink water, shake it off. I need to look professional for renewal by Anderson.
Yes, maybe have a brown sugar bacon or something over there.
Yeah, this year there was plenty of seltzers. Those helped a lot.
I mean, the damn window companies that go to these festivals that are, near apartment complexes and then mass mail 500 of their business cards to those apartment complexes. Like, yes, I would like to change my windows that I don't pay for and have no say for, but yes, please spend hundreds of thousands of dollars on mailing. Make it make sense.
Ugh, it's awful.
Make it make sense.
It's awful. But anyway, a really good time at the beer festival. Let's rate a beer from each. We alluded to some of our favorites here. Do you guys want me to go first?
Sure.
I got one up. So Angle Tree Brewery, a nano brewery in North Attleboro, relatively new to my knowledge. I have never been there. I hadn't even actually heard of it until we got there. Friend of the pod, and actually someone who has been on our podcast before, back in the old ages. Bennett Allen, had a resident of North Attleboro had pointed that out and said, "Oh, we live kind of near there." So hustled over there, and I tried Mike's Cream Ale. Now, cream ales have this reputation of being like really sweet and maybe a dark beer, with like cinnamon or whatever. It's not really what cream ales are. It kind of tastes like a cream soda. It's like very subtle. And that was one of the more surprising beers that I had not had at that point. I gave this a 3.5, and by cream ale standards, I think that's pretty good. I had this very early on in the festival. It was a great way to ease yourself into the copious amounts of 8% beers that were there. So that's enough for me to sort of keep my eyes on Angle Tree. Only 70 ratings for the cream ale right now. So this is still a very new beer. If you're in Southern Mass, go check them out because they make some good stuff. I thoroughly enjoyed the beers we had there.
No. Yeah, I'll go next. So I'm a Vermont beer guy through and through, and I was there looking for a light beer. With the Rhode Island Beer Fest, I think I don't want to say an oversaturation, but there are a ton of like heavier beers, IPAs, New England IPAs, stouts, and I just wanted something like a little more refreshing, a little lighter. And I came across a favorite of mine, Zero Gravity, and they had their Green State Lager, and that is, in my experience, one of my favorite beers. It's called Green State Lager, but they advertise it as a Pilsner. It's 5%. It's just smooth. I mean, I love it. I'm at a point in my life where I like the lighter beers, and it just, yeah, I don't know. It made sense at the day, and I really enjoyed it. So shout out Zero Gravity. I've seen you before, but I'll be there again. Yeah, really enjoyed it.
I feel like you're a big Vermont beer guy.
I am. Yeah, I just said, yeah.
Yeah.
Literally his intro.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let me rephrase. I feel like I've seen you, like, if I were to picture you just drinking a beer, it'd probably be a Long Trail, honestly.
Yeah. What quarter zip am I wearing right now, Simmer?
Von Trapp.
Come on.
But that's
Von
not.
Trapp. Yeah, Von Trapp. That, just testing you.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, no, I'm a Vermont beer guy. Yeah.
I know. I'm saying that I feel like you have historically drank a lot of Long Trail, and that's
why I have.
That.
Yeah. My dad was a big Long Trail guy, so
Long Trail is now a Harpoon company.
I did know this.
Yes,
owned by Harpoon.
That's right. Yeah.
Mass Bay Brewing Company, right? Is that their parent?
Something like that.
It's not Boston Beer. Boston Beer is like Sam Adams and Truly and all that shit.
Yeah. I think it's Mass Bay.
Interesting.
So we got a lager, we got a cream ale. I think the last time we talked about the Brewers Fest, the Rhode Island Brewers Fest, and reviewed beers, I probably chose Gunner's Daughter by Mass Lanham Brewing.
So good.
Is so good. So I'm gonna do something different. I mean, another pick I had, but it's not Rhode Island, but I do want to highlight. It was from Southern Tier, which was at the Victory Brewing table. It was the French Toast Imperial Ale. That was like an 8.6%. Like, I mean, it's an Imperial Ale, but it like poured like a stout, came out like a lager, tasted refreshing, even though it was like super syrupy. So I really enjoyed that. But in terms of the local aspect, give me I'll go the Tiny Truck IPA from Ragged Island. So fan favorite, one of the more popular ones at Ragged Island. It was a citra hopped New England style IPA, hazy and very hop forward with citrus sorbet and fresh oranges. I mean, there's IPAs, there's good IPAs. That's a great IPA. And it was something that I think just stood out across the entire festival. That was a lot of IPAs. So I'm gonna shout out Matt Gray BBB podcast and Ragged Island Brewery for that choice.
Cool.
Big shout out to Matt. He put up with us after 3 hours of that long session, probably not making any sort of English.
Oh, he was the same. We were talking after the beer festival, and I mean, I don't know how he does it. He does a ton of these events, and like the team he has putting it on is always great. It's super impressive what they've built and created and stuff. And yeah, afterwards he was just like, I'm exhausted and I don't know if I can drive home. I'm like, right there with you. I'm walking next door and I'm feeling the same way. So
might have been able to cross the treacherous parking lot.
Another great beer festival, and we'll see you at the next one.
That was good.
We'll see you at the next one.
We might keep adding. Our group was the largest it's ever been.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 15, 20, something like that. It's a very big crew. Next week, I've got a lot of beer escapades to tell. This recaps a week out from my St. Louis trip. I got to go to the Anheuser-Busch facility for the first time. I was going to regret it if I didn't. I've been to St. Louis 3 times with work, and I still have not been. So I got to do some cool shit. I got to tap beer out of the Zwickel, like out of the finishing lager. That was pretty fucking cool, and had some fresh Budweiser. I'll tell the crew all about it next week. A little teaser. All right, we go to our business segment. There's a few different things, a few different directions we can go here. I think the biggest news for me was about the A's. And this sort of teeters on the ball segment too, but I don't know if anyone saw what the Las Vegas mayor had to say about the Oakland A's. It's causing a stir. Front Office Sports broke this on their podcast yesterday, actually. The Vegas mayor said basically the A's should try to stay in Oakland. And it riled a lot of people up. So I agree. I think her comments were taken out of context because she issued a statement after and said, listen, we would love this. Don't get me wrong. Mm-hmm. But Oakland should try. They have a very passionate fan base. They should try every lever to stay there. And if it doesn't work out, we will welcome them with open arms like we did with the Raiders. But
see, like I understand where she's coming from in terms of like, you know, the passionate fan base and like, you know, we don't want to like take it from you, but it also is just a slap in the face to A's fans because it's like they showed their support, you know, they lobbied, they rioted, they protested, they did all of this stuff. It's the owners that want out. It's not necessarily Oakland. It's the owners want out and want the new payday and want the refresh on the team. So it's kind of just like, okay, now the mayor's saying like, you guys should honestly stay. And it's what, in 2 years, they're going to be in Vegas anyway. It's already been approved by Manfred. He's not going to go back on his word.
Yeah.
And like the way Vegas is now, especially after the Super Bowl week, sports are there to stay for a very long time.
It's true. I mean, you look at the Vegas expansion plan for sports and there's talk of NBA. LeBron's in on it. There's been rumors floated out that once they build this new NBA arena, they find a franchise to move there, he'll go play for them. Or maybe it's an expansion team. That's not out of the question. F1 in Vegas has been huge the past couple of years. Or this past year, I mean. The race drew so many people over the span of 3-4 days. And then the Golden Knights just won a cup.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I feel like Vegas was so taboo for a while. And now that, like, teams are moving there and sports betting is being accepted, now it's like, I don't want to say there's, like, a mass exodus, but, like, a lot of people want to be there.
Oh, yeah. I mean, the sports gambling, I thought the gambling was going to be the problem, but now every single league is associated to gambling and hitching their wagon onto stuff. It like really doesn't matter. And I mean, adding the sphere, which I know is going to be a topic, which we could probably transition right into.
Yeah, it's not really business, but it's an outlier. So let's.
Yeah. So again, it's a weird comment to make. The A's are going to be in Vegas. They'll probably be a very successful team. I think I mean, I don't know how the team's ownership will change their money spending habits, but you're going to probably get some talented players that want to play in the Vegas area per se.
Oh, for sure. For
It's
sure.
cheaper
If
than
you have the
California,
opportunity to
too.
go, of course it is. Yeah, you have the opportunity to go play in Vegas, that's up and coming sports town. And it's fucking Vegas. Like there's no shortage of stuff to do and people to hang out with, and these exorbitant shows and displays and concerts. Like U2's probably performed there 90 billion times.
Yeah, I mean, I'll give James Dolan credit, man. The Sphere is incredible.
So speaking of James Dolan, we'll head to
the guy that's position right there. Yeah,
the guy that scaled the Sphere, which on one hand, it just proves that The Simpsons always predict something, because there was an episode, obviously, in the Simpsons movie, or a clip in the Simpsons movie. Where Homer Simpson is scaling the sphere that is over their town, and somehow this guy.
Kidding me? I didn't see that.
Yeah, somehow this guy figured it out, and I believe I forgot the name of the gentleman. We'll have Jim pull up.
I've got the info up if you want.
Yeah, he scaled it for, obviously there's a cause to this. He didn't just scale it for fun, but somehow free climbed this Las Vegas sphere, made it to the top, and I feel like that news was kind of brushed under the rug today. I saw like a couple clips and then it just disappeared. But if you want to drop the information on that.
Yeah, I don't know. Firstly, I don't know how he got there and what his plan was ever to get down. Like, like you just fucking climb up the sphere, you get up there and you're like, oh shit, what do I do now? Like, you got to have someone airlift you off there. Luckily, there was a hatch in the top that he went down. But so Mason Deschamps is a pro-life activist. He filmed himself this is courtesy of Colin Rugg's Twitter. He filmed himself at the top of the 366-foot tall structure and said he was raising money for a homeless pregnant woman. He was reportedly able to get down through a hatch at the top of the structure. This guy's Instagram bio reads, I climb skyscrapers to raise money for women in crisis pregnancies. Christ is king. So he was, obviously trying to draw attention to this woman. He did a damn good job, because I think, while this was brushed under the rug like everywhere else that, on TV and, other news outlets, I think Twitter, it was rampant, right? It was all over the place. In the
has this guy like climbed stuff before? Like, has he been in the news before this?
I don't know. I've never heard of this guy.
Okay.
This is also the first time I actually saw clips of the sphere up close. And it looks like it's a bunch of LED bulbs that he like stepped his way up on.
Yeah, it looks it almost looks easy to climb.
Yeah, I honestly thought, again, from all the
take you to climb it if you want to.
All right.
I honestly thought with like all the photos,
flight,
all the photos from it from so far out, it was literally just a giant, like multiple screens that were there.
Yeah.
I mean, it still doesn't make sense, especially if like one of those bulbs go out. Does like the whole thing get killed?
Right, like a Christmas tree.
Yeah. There's too much science behind it, and I don't get it.
Yeah.
Like, I still can't get over. Yes, I will never fathom what this guy goes through, like, and makes a decision. Yeah, I'm going to scale the sphere, right? You got to look at your options, but I would freak the fuck out if I were on top of there. Odds are maybe don't have a functioning phone at that point. Maybe you do. I don't really know. It's probably not that high of altitude.
Yeah.
What if you drop your phone and you need to like call 911 to airlift you out of there?
Right, but everybody knows you're up there.
Like, do you get arrested? Like, did this guy get arrested?
100%.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
That's trespassing.
Yeah, it's like trespassing, like probably vandalism.
I was going to say, destruction of property.
Probably.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why, like, he's French, right?
He spoke perfect English. So I don't know.
What's his last name?
Deschamps.
Okay, French.
It's definitely a French last name.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there's like a French guy who's like been climbing buildings notoriously for a while. I'll fact check it.
Maybe it was. Yeah, no, I get that point. Like, everybody knows where you are because he had a GoPro on his head. He was live streaming it. Like, also, you are so fucked if you look down. Like, if you're scaling up the side of a 370-foot orb and you look down, you're fucking done.
All right, say his name one more time.
Maison Deschamps.
Okay, no. I was looking at Alain Robert.
Oh, man.
Close.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
French. Both French.
Both French.
Alain Robert. What does Alain Robert do?
Climbs buildings.
Like in the U.S. or France?
Everywhere.
Like, what does he climb? Like,
as of 2023, he has climbed around 170 buildings.
Oh, wow.
Including 200 of the world's tallest skyscrapers.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
Is it like the Empire State Building and Burj Khalifa and shit?
Yeah.
There's no way you're climbing the Burj Khalifa.
Oh, that's the thing.
It's literally physically impossible.
Well, you've been there, so.
Physically impossible. That was like one of the coolest experiences, but probably one of the scariest experiences standing outside. I thought it was going to get blown
that high
over.
up. Like, did you, when you're looking outside of the Burj Khalifa, do you actually feel like, holy fuck, this is like enormously high, or is it kind of like a New York City skyscraper?
Can't even explain it. Like
I know it's much higher than one, but do you feel like, is it that surreal of a feeling up there too?
It felt like you can see the other end of the world.
Holy shit.
Like, there wasn't even like, you couldn't even see the movement from down below. That's how far it was.
Yeah,
like not even ants.
He's come the Shard in London.
It's the Shard.
All right.
I don't know. I'll look that up. The Shard.
Yeah, it's like the San Francisco type building in London.
Yeah. Oh, I've seen. It's right near the London Bridge. It's that like
yeah.
Literally looks like a shard of glass.
Yeah. No, that's hence the name.
Hence the name.
Yeah. So this Alain Robert guy is legit. The Maison Deschamps has a lot way to go.
Yeah, he's got an idol.
The Sphere's a good start.
Yeah.
It's a good start.
So that's the Sphere. And then what else we got for business? Like, I think the biggest one was probably the ESPN streaming service, which 2 ESPN things actually came out. So we have the streaming service, which was the bundled package of Warner Brothers and TNT Sports. So breaking news, cable has been reinvented and rebranded. And then ESPN is coming out with another platform to push out their content on a more exclusive level. So breaking news, ESPN Plus is now created.
Like, I've looked at this every which way and I still don't fucking get it. Now, I understand this is a money grab and it's a market share grab for ESPN. They're, from what I read, courtesy of Yahoo Finance and a couple others, they plan to do more personalized crap. So they want to do more fantasy football stuff. They want to do more ESPN Bet, and they want to show Pat McAfee's face all over the place. But, like, what makes this different? I just don't know. Like, other than they're going to charge more money to let you watch Monday Night Football.
If they start charging for, I guess they technically do, and it's like Amazon and Peacock for games. Mm-hmm. But if they like if they do like a specific paywall where it's like, hey, $5 every time you watch this game, stop watching football.
They're gonna have some exorbitant plan. It's stupid. You might as well get YouTube TV or Hulu Plus or whatever, and just watch your fucking cable and don't take your personalizations, and that's all.
Mm-hmm.
It just. The problem is with like ESPN 2, it's like their content hasn't been good besides the live sports.
Mm-hmm.
Because that's a necessity, right? It's like everything else is not, their original content isn't crazy. Like, I liked Paid in Places. I liked, stuff like that, but it wasn't like, oh, I had to tune in every time.
It's good to watch in the background of something.
It's a good background thing. Yeah. Like the clips that come out are good. But I was never like, oh shit, one of these dropped. I need to like run and watch it.
So like if you're watching a TV show at the same time Monday Night Football is on, you put on Peyton's places.
Yeah.
Because it's like background noise.
Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah. I mean, again, I love Peyton and Eli, but I wasn't a huge fan of their, and maybe this is just me in general. I'm not a big fan of the watching two people talk while the game's going on.
You're anti-Manning cast. Yeah.
It's not just Manning cast, because it's like I like the guests they had on and they provided good stuff. If it was a game not worth watching. But like when the Giants were on, yeah, it was cool to see Eli's reactions to stuff like that, but I wanted to watch the game. So if it's like just a Monday Night Football that I don't care about, I'll watch that. But if it's a Monday Night Football game that like matters to me, or I have money on it or something like that, I want to watch the game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like you want to. I feel like in general, consumers want to watch Joe Buck and Troy Aikman call these games, right? Like Buck and Aikman are, I think, on the highest value broadcasting deal right now as far as talent goes.
Probably until
after that trade,
until Brady comes along.
Yeah, true.
That's
you also I don't know if you saw Saban today.
Yeah, Saban's going to the
ESPN.
desk.
Yeah,
Saban's going to the desk. I felt like that was coming because I was very surprised how often Saban went on Pat McAfee's show.
Mm-hmm.
Like I honestly thought it was more regular than anticipated. But again, he's a guy that you never really see on the other side of things because he was very, brought that dynasty, had the championships. It's kind of like when you see those videos of those like behind the scene interviews with like Belichick of him actually like talking football. It's like, holy shit, you're a normal guy that like brings a lot to the table. You just put this facade up because it's like you're older, you've been in the league for a while, you won a ton, like you're just like job's not done type of guy. So I'm actually excited to see Saban on the desk. It'll be weird, but I think he'll do a really good job.
No, I agree.
My take here, hold me to this, Jim.
Mm-hmm.
Belichick will be with him opening day. I think it'll be Saban and Belichick on the ESPN desk.
For college football?
I think so.
Just for college?
He is a noted college football.
It's already historian.
Too full. Well,
they'll figure it out. It's still Belichick.
I
think they're going to work him in somehow. I really do.
Take. I think he'll go. I think he'll go on a game or two as a guest picker, like he did for Army and Navy. But
right.
I don't think
he's
a regular.
When he's a regular on ESPN this year.
Set the calendar invite.
Yeah, I'll clip it. Yeah.
Set the calendar
invite. You can come back
to
Thursday, February 8th when we run this episode and say, "Wow, shit, that might have had a point."
That's what we're gonna start doing, James. Is you're just gonna start sending calendar invites part of your third.
Yeah, no, I'll be the Jake. I'll be the Jamie. I'll be the calendar guy on the podcast.
So August 31st. Remind us that Bill Belichick is on the desk.
On the college football desk.
On the college football desk.
Now I have to revise. I have to be more
No.
specific.
No. That's what you said. That's exactly what you said.
All right, fine.
That is exactly what you said.
Yeah.
College football.
Yeah.
You can't preface something of James, hold me to it, and say it, and then when we now are.
No, I know. I just want to be crystal clear about the receipts. I said college football. Is there a world where he does other TV? 100% there is. That's just my
yeah. But you said Belichick.
I know, which is why I'm on board with this. Hold me to it. That's what
it's going to be Belichick, an announcer, and Tom Brady on Fox Sports.
Wow, that might be even colder. You think they can't put him with Tom Brady?
What do you mean they can't?
There's it ended very weirdly, and especially with the stuff that's out now about how the last year went, like the expose that I forgot which outlet it ran.
Was it like Hulu or Disney Plus or?
I was just talking about
Dynasty.
No, it was
that show. No,
it was the recap after Belichick announced he was leaving. It was basically just like a 6 or 7 minute written piece on. It was the whole thing when Belichick went to Kraft and said Brady can't play anymore, so they let him walk, and then he wins the Super Bowl in Tampa Bay, and Kraft goes, "This fucking guy told me he couldn't play anymore."
Yeah. They don't hate each other. They don't.
I don't think they hate each other. And Brady was just on what show was he just on? Was it McAfee that they were asking him about if Bill was a stubborn asshole and they didn't get along, and he had nothing but good things to say. So maybe it's just saving face. But I would be shocked, to be honest.
That's a story that one day needs to be unfolded of like what actually happened. There's too many especially in sports teams. It's like there's so many people in the building that like none of this was like a super private conversation. Somebody has to know something. And I don't know. I feel like in that whole situation, I think Kraft got away scot-free in a lot of shit for a guy who,
well, he's got the money, so
he's the owner. He's got the money. He's very, compared to other owners, very, forward in terms of, involvement of a team. I feel like everyone was like, oh, it was Belichick's fault. It was Brady wanted to leave. They got into a skiff. I think he was pulling some strings in the front that you're telling me after 6 championships, you guys couldn't all sit down in a room and figure this out.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah.
It's a lot of.
I don't think they're enemies. I don't think the disagreement was as much as it's played out to be. I think they're friends.
Friendly.
But
friendly. Yeah. Who knows? I mean, this could be a hot take too. Is Brady the problem? I mean, I don't think he's a big relationship guy.
There's no way Brady's the problem.
Well, I mean, he divorced his wife, so
twice.
That's true. Yeah, twice. He also retired twice.
Is he the commitment issue guy that people are like?
I mean,
everyone in New England just wants to get on their knees and be like, Tom Brady can do no wrong.
But he's like Derek Jeter. Like, for a fact,
Derek Jeter can do no wrong.
It came very close.
Right. Like he had a perfect resume in Miami.
I mean, it's the Miami Marlins. He'll never be perfect. But
no, that's what I'm saying. Like he can't. Yeah. Like he didn't have a perfect resume.
Yeah.
But here's the thing about Jeter. I'll build off your hot take, Tondo. I think it could have ended very similarly with Derek Jeter. Like, it came dangerously close to falling apart in negotiations at the end. Right before Jeter hit 3,000 hits.
It wasn't his fault. All he asked was like, listen, I don't need to be paid the most on my team. Like, he easily could have been a cocky asshole and said, I need to be the highest paid shortstop. I need to be all of this. And yes, maybe there was a little cockiness of like, he has to be shortstop and stuff like that. But I think that's more of a pride thing than anything. The only thing he asked was, I do not want my contract negotiations to be spilled out in the public. And what did Brian Cashman do? Spill it out in the public.
I know, and to be clear,
it's a Brian Cashman fault.
Right, the ownership totally botched it. They fucked him. They were gonna fuck him. They were gonna really screw him over right there. And I feel like there were shades of that. Like, ownership was definitely trying to screw Tom Brady over. It sounds like. So you can't really blame Tom for being like, well, screw this. There's part of me that thinks Derek Jeter was going to do that in 2014, 2015, 2016. He was going to say, screw it. All right. Cashman wants to play hardball. I'm not going to fucking play with him. I'll go play in Miami. I'll go play in LA.
Who did Brady lose to in that last playoff game with the Patriots?
I think it was the Eagles.
No, it was the Super Bowl.
What was that? 2019?
Oh, the Patriots.
Yeah, with Patriots. Yeah.
Sorry, I thought. Yeah.
No, you're good.
The Jets, maybe.
Let's find out.
No, unfortunately, we haven't made the playoffs since 2010.
It wasn't the Jets.
Yeah.
Let's see. It was 2020. It might have been the Bills or the Broncos.
I think it definitely was.
I think it was the Bills.
Let's find out. 2019, 2020. Oh, this was bad. They lost to the Titans at home.
Oh.
Yeah, it was
I forgot about that game.
Yeah.
It was the variable.
And then the Titans that year, after that, they beat Baltimore, who was a 1 seed that year.
Yep.
And then they
it's
played
the championship game.
They played the Chiefs in the AFC Championship that year. That was Green Bay, San Francisco on the other side.
They were the 1 seed, right?
Baltimore was the 1.
Okay.
The Titans were a 6.
Yeah. All right.
So Mike Vrabel knocked out Tom Brady.
Yeah.
That's wild. Well, business has taken quite a turn. I do want to highlight real quick the whole Taylor Swift private jet saga too, because this is very interesting. Shades of Elon Musk's saga, when they were threatening legal action over the kid that was tracking Elon Musk's private jet. This actually might be the same guy? But anyway, Jack Sweeney Jr. at UCF is being threatened with legal action by Taylor Swift because he is tracking the private jet every time it leaves and lands and how much carbon it's emitted. It should be noted she flew the most of any celebrity last year and emitted the most carbon. And now they're sort of weighing whether they can sue this guy. It sparks a very interesting debate. I feel like this comes up every now and then with Musk.
Yeah, well, my first thought is that it's like public domain.
The other nasty thought of this, so to be clear, I agree with you. The other thought of it is like what people are saying, that these are assassination coordinates.
Yeah.
But they don't say, the reason I'm not sold on that is because they're not saying who's on the plane. They're not saying specific times or anything that the plane's departing and taking off. Like after it departs, it said, okay, it left at this point. But
those are the general trackers, like, and again, like the tracker brought up a point where it's like they did the numbers of when Taylor Swift flew from Brazil to Kansas City. I'm sorry, how many private planes are flying from Brazil to Kansas City? You can probably, connect the dots there type of thing.
Right.
I get both sides. I get both sides where it's like it's public domain. The flight tracker is out there. I'm sure she has security. And also, too, if we're going to live in this cancel culture world / environment world, like the people that are rich should also probably, be a little bit more conscious. Like you're not flying a private plane because, you have boats load of money. You're also flying a private plane because it's the most efficient for your time. Like your time equals money. So how do you get to there at, an efficient time? But on the flip side, if you're spending $40,000 in fuel for one flight, it's like pretty shitty for the common man.
23 grand to fuel that jet from Brazil to KC. Her camp, by the way, says, no, that's not the case. It's not always us traveling on it. We loan it out a lot, which I call bullshit.
Yeah, I don't hate Taylor Swift. I like her music. I will defend Jake Gyllenhaal, but I like her music. But that's like, I feel like it's something that's not like debatable. Like with the CO2 shit.
Yeah.
It's
true. She bought carbon offsets, though. To reduce her impact. I don't know how much she paid, but it's a damning look. I agree. It's disproportionately higher to a bad impact on the climate to take a private jet everywhere you go. Now I get it. She's the biggest superstar. It's not practical to have her fly first class and commercially everywhere. But it's not insignificant. That's my thought on the matter. That is the business discussion. We went a lot of different directions there. Let's go to our interview now. This was a really fun interview with Megan Lanham, the founder of Rithmm, an AI sports betting app. She talks all about it and how you can get involved as well. Well, let's dive into our interview with Megan. All right. This is our interview with Megan Lanham, one of the founders of Rithmm, an AI sports betting app available now on the App Store. Megan, thank you so much for joining us, and we're excited to have you take us through all the exciting things going on at Rithmm.
Well, thanks for having me. I'm out in Las Vegas right now, and we're doing Super Bowl week, so it's fantastic out here. It's absolutely jam-packed already. Everybody's here, so it's awesome.
So
Great.
As we're recording this, just a couple of hours ago, it was released that guy was crawling up the sphere. Did you happen to see that at all?
I missed that. But I can tell you we've had some situations in our hotel as well. So
Oh, love that.
it's
Jeez.
it's alive out here. Let me tell you.
Oh, I'm sure. We'll get into all the Super Bowl fun stuff and a lot of the exciting things you have going on at Rithmm for the Super Bowl. But to start, give us the 60-second elevator pitch. What is Rithmm?
Yeah, Rithmm is a place for, it's an app. It's a place for bettors to go that want to, have a place where they can actually have a smart decision accessible for them. So we created Rithmm out of the notion of, what if we could provide bettors everything a pro bettor has? What does a pro bettor have? Well, they have a team of data scientists and quants on the back end building out these models, predictive models. What if we could give that to everyday users? What if we could give that to recreational bettors and sharps and make it easy for people? And that's what we've done. So Rithmm is a place to go to find data backed picks. So easily you can go to our app and it'll give you a list of games tonight, like for the NBA or men's college basketball, and it'll have a green star by it. And that means the model has predicted that is where the edge lies. It allows users to build their own models. And if that isn't something you want to do, we can have Rithmm AI build a model for you.
That's awesome. I'm intrigued. You have me as someone that makes notoriously bad plays. I could definitely use the help of AI here. But I want to talk about your background before we really get into the weeds with Rithmm and using the app and maybe some really good wins. Your background's very interesting, right? You did some basketball coaching, Indiana State, Southern Illinois, University of Rhode Island, and then all of a sudden, pivoted to recruiting. So why was coaching that initial path for you, and what made you want to go that route in the first place?
Yeah, I mean, I grew up playing ball. All I ever wanted to do was coach Division I basketball, and that was back then. That seemed like an odd career path. Like there wasn't when I was in college, it was like, what do you want to do? What degree are you even going to get? So I always wanted to coach basketball. I wanted to do it at the top level. I got out of college, and that's what I did. And so I coached for a little over a decade, and had just an absolute killer experience. But then I felt like, hey, I've always been on campus my whole life. I've never and when you're in Division I basketball all day long, all you do, you're there for the program, you're there for the university, nothing else that exists. So you shrink down your life. And so I was like, okay, after I need to go explore the business world. So I pivoted to a startup in the recruiting space I really knew nothing about, but I knew obviously I could recruit. And it was a team of 6 people, your total startup story in a basement. I was thinking, what have I done? Like we are sharing desks. We are a true startup. But it was really cool. I love building things. And so we built that company up and sold it to a private equity firm in 2017. And then I became the CEO. The founder left. And then we built that company a little bit in an inorganic way with a lot of mergers and acquisitions. And we sold that company a year and a half ago as a conglomerate. So it's been quite a ride.
Yeah, that's really cool. You kind of just touched on it. In June of 2019, you were promoted to the CEO of Pharma Logistics. How do you think that has kind of set you up and helped you gain experience, become the founder of and a CEO of your own company?
It's absolutely critical. When you're, so it's made my life a lot easier. Startups are hard. Anybody that ever want to do a startup, come talk to me. I will give you the reality of it. It's incredibly hard. Your team is slim. You're working long hours, and you're learning the whole hose in your face situation. So the fact that I had that experience, I wasn't a first time. This isn't my first time. I've scaled a company before. I understand how hard it is. Those learning lessons have been just unbelievable in this world of the startup, like this startup. So I can't describe how much that's helped me. To when you're the CEO, you look at things at a whole different lens. You don't even. It's just like when you're. So when I was in basketball as an assistant coach, the head coach would always say to me, "You're great, but when you become a head coach, your world changes. Like what you think is important as an assistant, and you should think that's right. But when you become a head coach, those things are off the table. You're looking at it with a whole set of different eyes. And until you get here, I really can't help you understand it. You got to be in the shoes. Because I was always asking, like, what's it like? What's it like? What's different? You were an assistant coach. Tell me why it's different. And a lot of the feedback I got from really great people and people I worked with were, you just have to be in the shoes. And so to be in the shoes, super helpful.
Makes perfect sense. I mean, I would imagine you could draw a parallel from your basketball playing days as well. Was there anything that stuck out to you that you learned, playing college ball and standing out for 4 years there that you're applying now and have applied in your corporate world as well?
Yeah, when I became the CEO, when I went in front of the board of my last company, I said, I'm going to run the company like pro basketball team. And I gave it an total analogy about the roster and about improving the roster and financially what that means. And that was they understood then where I was coming from and how we were going to build things. And going out and we started doing acquisitions, same thing. What kind of talent are we acquiring when we look at that company? That's how I've really looked at everything. And the more that I've talked to other athletes that are, leading companies, it's like we all just look back on our careers and say, okay, this is a team. Here are key players. Here are players that are critical coming off the bench. Everyone's important. How do you mesh it? How do you get to excel at that top level? How do you get consistency, and excellence rampant in every position? How do you inspire people? You use everything that you did as a coach and as a player. And you got to get scrappy sometimes. Like you're like, okay, all right, just you guys will like this. Okay. Somebody fouls out. You're down to like an all guard lineup. All right. How are you going to get it done? Those are like elements that you use as you're leading a company. You start looking things like that. And in the huddle, like think about that. There are days you have to make incredibly quick decisions on limited data, not fun to do, but required. Mm-hmm. I always look back and like, we did that in the huddle and it worked. And sometimes it didn't, but you have to learn. So those are kind of some ways that I think about it.
And love that example too. The path that you took, obviously, we're spending a lot of time talking about that. So, you go from a player to a coach to in recruiting to basically running a company. Yeah. And then the idea for Rithmm comes about some way with some people. How did that even come to life? Like, what was the light bulb that went off with you and your founding team of what made you guys want to start it, and ultimately, why you left your previous firm to go start Rithmm?
It was awesome. When I became CEO, I was actually going to school as well. So I was going to MIT to get my MBA. I don't know if I recommend that. It was one of those moments I thought, oh, this is really smart to do. And then you get in and you're like, what have I done? But I was getting my MBA. I was then appointed CEO. I had a year left in the program. They were gracious enough to say, keep going and finish it. And I said, hey, don't worry, it won't touch anything. While I was there, I was in a data models and decisions class, DMD, it's called, kind of a famous class at MIT. It's really hard. I needed a tutor to get through it. And that was a moment of just like total humble. I'm like, I'm this age and need a tutor. All right. But it's like incredibly hard math. And so we were doing predictive analytics, and it was a moment I stopped listening to class, started writing down about Rithmm. I was betting on the MBA at the time. I was using my coaching background to make decisions. What I couldn't put together, though, was like data's dynamic. I knew my decisions could only go so far. I wanted more, and the predictive analytics was giving me more. So I was like creating spreadsheets, doing predictive analytics, but it was like so hard. And while I was in class, I was like, whoa, what if we could bring this to everyday users? Like, what if like we could they don't even have to be quant. Like we could remove the barrier. Like just all you have to do is we could create something where people could input their instincts, which I'll get to in a little bit. About now we actually offer a couple ways for you to make decisions. You could input your instincts, and then it would combine with our algorithm, and then it would spit out, here are the games tonight where you have an edge. And that's where it was born, was in that class. And I was just writing down, like, this would be incredible. Because what I saw in the betting world was like sharps have teams of data scientists and programmers, and that's not scalable. And then the rest of us are kind of stuck with like, how do we make a decision? Well, I could pay a capper. I have no idea who this guy is and if he's given picks on both sides, and then I could read I can get on a network and read about, CBS research, and okay, could do that. That still isn't predictive analytics. There just wasn't anything that was helping the better. And we were all left with like me asking you guys, like, who do you got tonight? And then all of us making that decision. And I was like, God, if we could just do this. And so that's where it was born. And then I met my co-founder. I'm not a quant. So I was like, I need a quant. And I met my co-founder at a bar, at a party. And he's from MIT. Yep. And somebody said, there's a guy over there sitting alone. He's
I was
from
going to
MIT.
say, how did that conversation go?
Yeah.
That's very interesting.
Very interesting, because he's a quant, like, so he's, mathematical wizard, did predictive analytics for the military.
Wow.
Yeah, was the commander of an operation that brought home all those people from Afghanistan.
Holy crap.
Wow.
Where we got the planes in like a year and a half ago, got those people out. So he was leading that. So he's like wicked bright.
Yeah.
This is his
What
world.
was he drinking? Because I feel like that's a good
What was he
check.
drinking?
Yeah.
He's drinking a craft. Hey, you guys will like him. He'll drinking a craft beer.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
yeah, he
That's
passes the test.
Yeah. I was drinking a Bud Light. I do not pass your test. I drink I'm from the Midwest, so I drink terrible beer.
We're tolerant of all beers on this show.
Okay.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. So he was like just drinking a beer, and I'm just go over there and I say, hey, I'm in the MBA program. I heard you graduated from it. And he's like, how's it going? I'm like, oh, I'm in this really hard class called DMD. It's killing me. He goes, oh, I used to teach that. And I was like,
Wow.
cool. You are my guy. And so I was like, so we started talking about the class, and he's like, oh, I can totally help you. And then I was like, I have this crazy idea I want to tell you. It just hit me like he's the guy. And so we started talking, and he loved it. And he was like, oh my God, let's start doing this on the weekends. And I'm like, yeah, I have a full-time job. You have a full-time job. Maybe we could this could be a hobby of ours and figure out if this actually works. And so we did that. And then it worked. We hired some engineers from Bulgaria to like build us an MVP. And on the weekends, we were just like playing around and gave it to like 25 of our friends and family, and everyone was winning and having a great time and like couldn't believe like this existed. And so that's kind of how it all, that's like the grassroots of it all, how Rithmm came about. It's been it's been a blast. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. That's awesome. So there's a lot of sports betting apps out there. And a fair amount of them actually use AI as well. What do you think kind of separates Rithmm from the rest of those sports betting apps?
Yeah, I think it's a couple things. Like we are real AI users, so we're really using AI. There's a lot of people that say they are, but if you could ever get behind the scenes, we know when they're not. But we are really using AI. I would say a couple things. So from a proprietary standpoint, so we have, our quants are from MIT and Amherst. Another one of our guys that's helping us, he used to run the NBA desk at a sports betting hedge fund and got sick of trying to move money. And he is with us. Like, we've got incredibly smart people, engineers and quants behind this, that with their minds, they're creating the baseline and then the algorithm, and then the algo takes off and the machine learns. And so from a proprietary standpoint, how Rithmm is separated is that we have brilliant minds, and I would put us against anybody, and our data shows that. In terms of the user, how does the user separate? How does it separate us? So we've simplified incredibly hard math to help you. And we also predict scores, and we make predictions. Like you'll see when you go to Rithmm, you'll have what we call a bet card, where it'll have, here's the game tonight, here's the line, here's the win probability based on the model, here's the edge, and then it'll say Rithmm predicts, and then we actually make a prediction. So we're setting lines like Las Vegas, like we're doing exactly what Las Vegas is in our own way. So we have those capabilities, and we've shown, we've actually, when we were building this, we showed this to MGM Bets, and they said, you guys are doing more than we do on the back end.
Wow.
Oh my God. Wow.
So we are running like really advanced. It's really wild what's happening on our back end and how easy we're trying to make it on our front end. And we go back and forth all the time with like, how simple do we allow it? Because it will take away from really how hard this is. But we also want users we want it to be super user friendly. So those are always the trade-offs, If you dilute your product too much, it doesn't feel like it's super smart. And we have something like, we have built like a Lamborghini of, that's how we describe it for sports betting from a predictive analytics platform. And we have to reduce it to somewhere where people can understand it. Because no one likes to do math. Like except for the quants. But no one wants to talk about math. Like it's like, so
like a fair amount of your users are not going to want to do math. Yes.
No, they just want to get on and make picks, and we're trying to take it to that. We're trying to meet them at that level without losing our credibility in this. So, and I think right now, we're seeing we've got a lot of users. We have tons of feedback of where, what they want and what we have. And so I think we're meeting them, and I know a couple things that we're going to do in the next couple of months that are really going to help people. We're going to add some more graphs, and we're going to make it a little more digestible than just data, and add some generative AI to it. So we'll actually tell you why the model picks, the certain game tonight. So when you guys are sitting around having a beer and you're like, hey, I made a coaching model, and my coaching model has tonight, who do we have tonight? I can pull it up. Like, hey, I've got for NCAA men's basketball tonight, I've got, of course, I've got the over for Charleston Southern versus Winthrop.
Good old fashioned Big South basketball Wednesday night.
So I'm like, okay, my coaching model says it's going to win by 76.2%. The odds are 110. And my edge is 44.3%. Rithmm predicts the total is going to be 156.2. So I'm going to take that bet. But what we want to do is we want to put in there, oh, when I'm sitting at the bar and you're like, who you got tonight? Oh, I'm taking the over on the Winthrop game because my model likes it when teams shoot a lot of foul shots. My model likes high tempo teams, where it will spit out why the model chose it. Because right now we're giving you all the math, but we're not giving you the why. And we need to do that. But, I think to your point, that was a long-winded way of saying we separate ourselves because we do give a prediction. We do, and we are using AI in a way that will take some of your instincts and blend it with our math to give you a personalized, customized model.
And I feel like it's an interesting segue to this next point, which, I've done a fair amount of research into AI in general, and I feel like eliminating bias is a big part of it, right? And that could be, it means a lot of different things, but I think in this context, it's, could be favoring a certain team over another more routinely, or the opposite, right? Or does your algorithm spit out overs, 75% of the time or whatever? So, that fascinates us because it's like, how do you take all that data and make sure that it's actually, that it's not favoring maybe a team or maybe even like a conference against another? How do you even tackle that? Like, how do you wrap your head around it?
Our scientists are looking at it daily. So it's too bad one of them wasn't on. He would like to nerd out with that question with you because that is a constant conversation internally of, that we don't have that. What we try to do with our users, the ones that want to actually build models, we try to tell you can build up to 3 models. We try to tell them, don't create similarity in your models. Like you should not be doing that because you'd like to see some model ensembling where you have 3 models pointing to the same thing, but you've created them so differently. They wouldn't pick up. There wouldn't be a bias there where, so yes, so it's a constant conversation. It's a constant looking at models, looking at what edge values are winning, optimization, and then tweaking our models. So, like for the Super Bowl, okay? Right now, all the models that I have for the NFL, all my models that I built 3 of them, I have all caution flags. I don't have one green star. And a green star means my model predicts this. So it's telling me that, like, your model really can't make a decision. You can bet, we would caution you to bet the game.
Mhm.
So what we like about our platform is we put caution flags and green symbols so we can share with people of when we think there's something off with the market or something there's off with this pick. And that is also another responsible way for us so people aren't just betting everything. We like people to bet smart. That's the whole purpose of Rithmm, is like to help people. So it's constant looking at the models and the performance. And like we built Rithmm AI models. So to give you a sense, when we first built Rithmm, it was you get in there. We built 5 factors for basketball, let's say, offense, defense, 3-pointers, tempo, and fouls. You would slide sliders to the right if you thought it was important. Like, let's say you're like, I think high tempo and high offense teams are ones that would have an advantage, or more of an, like, I want to watch those kind of teams, go find them for me when they have an advantage, right? That we have that.
Mhm.
That's a personalized model. You name it, it's yours. You put your spin on it. Then we had a lot of users that said, I don't have an opinion. Help me. Where should I put my sliders? So we came up with Rithmm AI, where now it's like you can push a button, we will move the sliders for you, and you can have Rithmm AI build you a model. You can name it whatever you want, but it's yours, but we built it. Then there's a whole nother level we can talk about later, and that's for sharps, where it's like incredibly, like you get to go in and get your own stats out, and you're going to deep dive. But we'll talk about what 80% of our users are using as our core. Rithmm AI models are performing amazing. So we've got, for men's college basketball, I have it here somewhere because I was just like, these are so good. So for NFL, Rithmm AI models, they're up 5.5% ROI. You know how hard that is for an NFL?
Wow.
For people that might not be betting, maybe they're like 5.5. Like, guys, that is hard. The NFL
Right, I feel like being positive is hard enough, right?
Yeah.
You're up
Right.
5%.
Yes, right. So most recreational bettors are negative ROI, and their win rate is 45%. A sharp, a pro is 55%, and then in the green, but all I ever hear is just like in the green. So our Rithmm AI model is 5.5 on NFL, 8.8 on NBA. Now we're in the season, but that's where we are today. College football ended at 3-point ROI, and men's college basketball right now, we're at 2.8% in the green.
Wow.
So our Rithmm AI models are performing well. So when I get asked, like, does it work? Yeah, it works. These models are performing well, and we are tweaking them. And how do we tweak them? Well, we keep looking at what range the edge should be in, and who should get a green star, and that's how we get it to the user. So now our thing is, like, people are using it to make props. We've got player props out, and they're using it to make parlays. We're nerds. We're not big into parlays because we're like, the force is against you, but we know everyone loves parlays. So, our whole job is like, all right, if you're going to do that, then at least you'll take the green stars and put them together.
Right. No, that all.
Like that's like 50. Like there's probably 50 men's college basketball games on tonight alone,
Yes.
right? Like that's hard to crack the green there with all the possible combinations you could have. I mean, that ROI to even be positive is enormous.
Enormous, right? I'm so glad and I obviously love college basketball, and what I love about Rithmm is it takes you to really obscure games. So, like, not just me, but our users are like watching these just ridiculous like games that they just never would go to. Like the Stetson, like, okay, Texas State versus Appalachian State tonight. Why would I ever tune in? Well, okay, so there's DraftKings has a line on it, but like that line is not going to take me to the Texas State game. What's going to take me is if I see I have a green star, I'm going to watch that game. And so you really end up watching like very different teams, which is it's really interesting where this takes you. Our users say it all the time. Like, I'm watching more ESPN Plus than I ever needed to. So
Do you have a green star on any Missouri Valley Conference games tonight?
let me check. I will check.
And
you know what?
For our listeners, this will air on Thursday, so these will have fact checked this by then.
Yeah.
The Indiana State's just on a tear.
Oh,
is that a bias? Is that a bias?
It's founder bias.
Yeah, founder bias. Yeah.
It's like I'm watching every game of theirs, but like, but I'll tell you, the other night, I'll be straight up. I had it was Drake, Indiana State. It was at Indiana State. Obviously, I've lived at the Holman Center for 8 years of my life. I was like, there is no way Drake's beating them at the Holman Center. There's no way. My model had the dog, had Drake. I stayed away from it. So I will tell you that my model was wrong, and I went with my instincts.
Wow, little intuitive betting there. I like it. And that ended up being a great game. That was 36-37 at half, and then Indiana State took it by 8 points at the end. Wow, crazy.
Yeah, I got to get people on. The only thing I have tonight in the Valley is I've got the over on the UIC Illinois State game. Let me see how good that model I have that's picking it. This model I have right now that's picking it is winning at a 54.2%, and my ROI is 3.2.
Wow.
Again, I have three models, so this is the one. So, that I'll probably end up taking it.
We're going to take a quick break from our podcast to give you a note from our friends and sponsors over at the DraftKings Sportsbook. If you're looking for a super offer for Super Bowl 58, the DraftKings Sportsbook has you covered. New customers can bet on the big game and turn $5 into $200 instantly in bonus bets. We got the Chiefs as the underdog. It's the rematch from a few years ago. There's a ton of prop bets that you can hit, and the place to bet is obviously the DraftKings Sportsbook. So if you download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use the code BBB, new customers can bet $5 and get $200 instantly in bonus bets. Only at the DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of Super Bowl 58. Use the code BBB and the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit www.1800gambler.net. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY to 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age varies by jurisdiction. Bonus bets expire 160 hours after issuance. See dkng.com/football for eligibility and deposit restrictions, terms, and responsible gambling resources. Remember, use the code BBB only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. Now, back to the show.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, this all sounds incredible. The way AI is kind of leaning into sports betting, or should I say, sports betting is leaning into AI. Yeah. But what would you say kind of like the limitations are for AI in sports betting, or how far do you think sports betting can bring AI? How far can it go?
I think we are so excited about what we can do. Like, it's more about how small our team is and how can we get what we want out faster. But I mean, the way we want to use AI is a couple ways. We want it to create content, like quickly take our data from the back end and tell a story about a game quickly. We want it to take all of our tracked bets and quickly find trends and tell us, again, here's your best model. This model has won X amount of times against this team. It's 7-0, and it's available tonight, and the green star is available tonight. We want it to do the work for us. I want it to tell me. I want to get a notification in the morning from Rithmm, and I want AI to tell me really my best plays tonight. where it says best model says this, best team, this team you've bet on is, or every home game you've bet on, this is, I want it to tell me these things versus me having to go in and like, look, sort things and filter, which is what we have now because we need to do this. But AI is going to take this to a whole nother place.
Mm-hmm.
Now, things that are hard, data, you guys touched on it. Getting the right data is hard. It's dynamic. We would like to do 3 years of data, and then we also do current data. We need to then now figure out how can we just get maybe just conference play data where we're just, let's take, we have a lot, but now let's narrow it down and just take a certain piece of information, pieces of data, and now say, hey, in conference, this is how it's going. So there's so much we can do. AI will help us do that. So yeah, I can't describe how geeked we are about what's out there, and we just haven't had time or the people yet. We're getting there.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But first we had to have a product that worked like that. Like first we had to have like this product. Okay, it needs to work. We need the users to understand it. And then now it's like, oh, those two things are happening. And now we have this now. We're so excited.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and what we're excited for is the Super Bowl as well. I mean, this is the bread and butter of these big events for Rithmm and all the sports betting partners out there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what's Rithmm's strategy to keep users engaged for this week while the Super Bowl is going on? I would imagine you've got some stuff in the fire, like maybe some initiatives or new bets or maybe new props or something like that. But, I guess the better question here is what's the strategy for Rithmm, and also any plays that you're eyeing in particular?
Yeah. So we're only doing player props and game picks. So we're staying away from any of the kind of the wild stuff because we really can't predict that. So we're trying to just stay in our lane right now, perhaps next year with a bigger team, we can do some more of that. But
so like none of the Gatorades or the coin flips.
No,
and that stuff.
Unfortunately, no. This is where we stay in our lane. We're just nerds in our lane, not doing that and sticking with the math of where we have enough data to make predictions. And the rest we really can't help people with. So we're not even going to try. How are we keeping people engaged this week? Well, it's an interesting week. Like what we see with our users is a lot of them wait until the last, if you're a sharp bettor, you're going to get opening line. We have sharp bettors, but we also show we can see when people are using our app the most. And it's usually like before games, in the beginning of like a Sunday or wherever, if it's a Saturday in the games or whatever, at the beginning of the day. So we'll see a huge uptick when it gets closer. What we're doing this week, though, is we've launched NBA props. And because we knew there would be a little bit of lull going into this week in terms of just like there's no football to bet on right this minute. People still want to make bets. We need to give them the opportunity to do that. So we have men's basketball. Obviously, we've talked about men's college basketball. We've got NBA out. We just lost NBA props this week. And then heading into this weekend, we've got plenty of NBA props available for you. And obviously, the game picks are available. The line is super sharp. Everyone knows that.
Mm-hmm.
You can get a whole host of great player props with Rithmm. And then if you want to parlay those up, go for it. If you want to use the DFS cards, go for it. A lot of people are on Prize Picks using us. Fliff. I don't know if y'all heard of Fliff, but you can take our picks and go to Fliff and do free bets there and make money. So there's a lot of different ways you can use this.
Yeah, it's super cool that you guys are sort of, I'll call it quote unquote, playing nicely with the rest of the industry, because it's like, there's a lot of, it's a DraftKings FanDuel, sort of, it's all the fantasy sports, right? But I love what you just said about, hey, you go take our picks and play them on Prize Picks or whatever. And, you go use our data basically. So really cool. That being said, would love to know what you're playing this week, if anything, on the Super Bowl, or if you're at liberty to tell us even, but would love to hear.
My personal pick is Chiefs plus 2.5. I got it at 2.5. I think it's down to 2 now. I don't know, but I'm taking the Chiefs and the points. I would tell you that what I'm seeing on our models, I'm probably on the wrong side, but that's my model. That's my best model. And that's the one I'm going with.
Yeah, because it's one of those intuitive things. It's like, are you really gonna bet against the Chiefs, right? The Kansas City Chiefs, who have just been to the Super Bowl however many times in a row, right?
Yeah.
Mahomes going for legacy is potentially a legacy game for him. So
My model has done very well with the Chiefs. I have this one model that's done very well with the Chiefs, and it has the Chiefs plus 2.5, and so that was my pick. Now because my model had the Chiefs throughout the year, and I was doing obviously I became I was. How can you? For me, I was like, yeah, this is great because they're fun to watch.
Yeah. So what are some myths about either sports betting or AI within sports betting that you would like to dispel here once for all?
Yeah, I think that not everything. The myth is a lot of. I wish. Maybe it's more of I wish. I wish users or bettors, the betting community is. There's a process to this, and I know everybody wants to win right out of the gate, but that's just like if you can be positive green, if you can, even if it's 1%, like you are doing outstanding. Like that's the myth that I want everyone. No one's going to be winning at 70 and 80% long term. There's too much variance.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter how much AI you have. Okay, like that is not the case. But if you can find value and you can be in the green, you are doing great. And that's what I would, AI is not gonna. AI is certainly helping us. We could not exist we wouldn't be able to exist with that. We would not exist. But it's not going to. It's going to make you better. But we're not talking. Some people are like, oh, you guys shouldn't be losing ever, and I'm like, I don't know what to even say to that. That's not possible.
Right.
Like the reality is that if we want to be in the positive win percentage where we're covering the juice for people, and we want to give them if they follow along with what we're saying and not take liberties, and people take liberties, and that's fine. We want to be able to get you in the green, and that's what we're capable of doing. So the myth is, it's like no one is out there. Anybody saying I'm using AI and winning like 70% of the time, like that's baloney. Or maybe one weekend, but like you need to. It's process.
Mm-hmm.
You stick with it. It is not one. You're gonna have one bad weekend. That's just part. It's like part of it. So that's kind of what I would say.
Yeah. So we know you've got a busy week ahead in Vegas, probably talking with bettors and with potential new users. So as we start to close out here, what are you most proud of achieving with Rithmm so far at this point in the journey?
I'm so proud that we have an app that the amount of data that we're pumping out and the amount of math that's going on in the background that we're able to do, we're able to bring that to you, because typically this stuff takes like 4 hours. So the fact that we have figured out how to get this onto an app in a very timely manner, and that you have predictions that typically are reserved for professional bettors, and you have access, I'm so proud of that. I'm so proud that we launched NFL, NBA, college men's basketball, college football, WNBA, and we're launching golf for the Masters right after March Madness. We also have a March Madness bracket coming out. And guys, I have to tell you something proud of. This is like last year we tried March Madness. We're like, could we do this? Could we? We have no odds. So that's, part of our equations have the odds. How can we make predictions when, they launch the bracket on Sunday? How can we do this? So we tried it last year and it worked. We kind of blew it was one of those moments. We did not know if we could do it. So we were like, oh, we did it. So we had, if you remember last year, it was FAU, San Diego State, Miami, and UConn.
Yep.
No one thought any of those teams were going to be in the Final Four last year. All right. We had 553 brackets still in existence in the Final Four, with one of those 4 teams winning it.
Wow.
Yeah. We had 7.
Was like 75% of them UConn, I bet.
I'll tell you exactly. 349 had UConn.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah.
88 had Miami. 109 had San Diego, and 7 had FAU.
Wow. Those are ride or dies right there.
Oh,
Those are
right.
some alumni that
That was probably Eric Dunn, friend of the pod.
No, let me tell you. No. Rithmm AI built those models.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Brackets. So I was getting chirps from people that, okay, UConn, no one, they were a 4 seed last year, I believe.
5 seed.
5 seed.
5, yeah.
5. So when the brackets went out, I was getting some DMs, which is my daily situation. So fun. And it was just guys chirping at me like, I just got my model or my bracket model, and I've got UConn, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, oh man. And for a while, I was like, dang, man, we've got a lot. What's up with you? What's up with us? When our models pick UConn? And then I was like, hey guys.
There they are. Did they DM you back after?
No, never, right? Never. So anyways, I'm very proud of Mark. Like, we've got a March Madness generator bracket. We're going to do that again. It's free. So just really proud of what we've been able to do in a really short time with a small, scrappy team. Like, I mean, the people I work around are like, they're like national championship type caliber players if we did it in analogies.
Yeah, such an awesome concept, and we're rooting for you guys for sure. To close out, how does someone start using Rithmm today? Where do they find you guys on social media? Anything else you want to plug? The floor is yours.
Yeah, at Bet Rithmm, social media, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, wherever you go, we're there. So it's at bet_Rithmm, RITHMM. You can always go to our website, rithmm.com, RITHMM.com. You can go to the App Store. You can go to Google Play. We're in there. Just type in Rithmm, RITHMM, and it'll pop up. We have a 7-day free trial. We also have just a freemium. So we give out 1 or 2 picks a day. You can buy a pick for 99 cents. But if you want a full slate of picks and want to build models and do all the cool stuff, then you'll go into a 7-day trial, test it out, test drive it, see if you like it. Love feedback. So I would tell people, like, go download it, test it out, and give us feedback. What do you want? What are we missing? We're building as we speak. We've got more coming out. So yeah, we would love help from everyone.
Very cool stuff. We appreciate the time, Megan. Thank you so much. And we're looking forward to seeing if Chiefs plus 2.5 hits next.
Yeah.
And that was just Megan Lanham from Rithmm, the AI sports betting app. Check them out. We're going to be talking some Super Bowl props and parlays in just a little bit, but it was a great conversation. And you can find them at RITHMM, Rithmm sports betting app. Very hot, very trendy, very cool. And obviously, this segment is brought to you by the DraftKings Sportsbook. You heard us before, but you heard it again. All of the Super Bowl props, bets, and more can be found at our favorite sportsbook, the DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL and the Super Bowl. Terms and conditions apply, so go check them out and use the code BBB to get bonus bets all weekends long. So, Super Bowl props, bets, and discussions. We got, obviously, the rematch, the Chiefs versus the 49ers. And, the one thing we probably should start with before we get props is who the outright winner is. And I got a little clip that you can see in the bottom right-hand corner, which we're talking signs. Clubfoot Jim, new voice, new name. Tell us who that is. What does that look like? What does that look like? It's all right. You can leave it right in the corner.
Nope. Okay.
Oh.
So it looks like an arrowhead. So yeah. It looks
That's
like
a
an arrowhead.
good look and feel parm.
It's a veal parmesan. That's an arrowhead. Give me Chiefs money line, outright winner as the underdog. And I'm going to go around the room. You don't have to touch it, James. It's okay.
Okay. Sorry.
I mean, I think it'd be stupid not to do this, right?
I was trying to run the numbers and we'll get into the more serious conversation. So it's like, I've been looking through and it's like, okay, the obviously it's very different teams than, the Super Bowl 4 years ago, where the Chiefs won 31-20. They scored 4 touchdowns. The offense was on fire. The defense, really did hold the 49ers back. It was an outright blowout. It was the beginning of this Chiefs dynasty.
Mhm.
Then you look at, the year after, complete dud against the Buccaneers, but Narrative Nation, it was Tom Brady's time. He came to Tampa Bay, as we just talked about. He won it all. Then, the brothers last year, close game, they coming out. Do they go back and forth where it's like the Chiefs lose this one? My thing is, when you look at the NFL playoffs this year, the 49ers have more talent across the board. I think, obviously, Mahomes is better than Brock Purdy. But if you look talent-wise, like the 49ers are loaded, both on offense and on defense. They did not have a commanding win this entire playoffs. It was shaky. They should have lost to the Lions. They should have lost in the week prior to the Packers. It was shaky as can be. Where the Chiefs, who for some reason have been doubted all year long, still performed very well, and then came in and pretty much stomped the Ravens in, who were arguably one of the hottest teams in the entire NFL.
Mm-hmm.
Why are people now, and I'm even surprised with Vegas, which kind of concerns me, that they're still 2-point underdogs? If anything, I thought this would be, again, it's tough for a Super Bowl to be a pick'em, so I understand there's no money in that for a pick'em, that they needed to make a favorite and an underdog.
Right.
But how are the Chiefs the underdogs?
That's
what don't I know? What don't I know?
I can't get my head around it. Like, they are the Kansas City fucking Chiefs.
It's their 4th Super Bowl in 5 years.
They're on the verge of a dynasty. They are on the verge of it. And what's all the rage in Boston sports radio is a debate this week of, are they at the Pats level? Are they going to threaten their legacy for one of the best ever? And I think that answer is yes. I think they are getting there. I don't think they're there, but they, you have to talk about them, especially with a Super Bowl win, the same way that you talked about the New England Patriots from 2001 to 2018.
Well, my thing is, it's hard to, I think there's franchise dynasties, and I think there are these team dynasties. So, the Patriots dynasty, yes, the 6 Super Bowls from 2001 to 2018. But then I also see it as Brady and Belichick as the core of that, because the team shuffled around, right? It's the Chiefs are building this dynasty now in the 2020s, but it's, the Andy Reid and Pat Mahomes dynasty. And then when Andy Reid retires, it's really just the Pat Mahomes dynasty, because Tyreek Hill's gone. Travis Kelce is probably on his way out soon. They're going to shuffle through players both on offense and defense, but Patrick Mahomes is going to be an elite quarterback for the next decade and will probably be still playing for 15 more years.
So I feel like the Chiefs have gone through this calculated change where they were offensive heavy in the beginning of the dynasty, and they've drafted defensive player George Karlaftis after defensive player Trent McDuffie after defensive player, I don't remember his name, Awuzarike or Ozuma, or what was it? Felix Uzama?
Felix Underdike Uzoma.
Yes, yeah, him. Where they're loading up a defense, because that's what the team is now.
And L'Jarius Sneed is at a great year.
He's huge.
Back next year, though.
Yeah, Nick Bolton, another huge piece.
Willie Gay's been really good up the middle.
And Willie Gay, it's a huge shift in who they are. Because, again, when they won the Super Bowl, what was it, 2019, 2020, 4 years ago? They were an offensive powerhouse. But now it's oh, shit, watch out for the Chiefs' defense.
It's one of those things where it's this is from Fox Sports. When you think of oh shit, who are the big bad defensive teams? You're the 49ers. You got Nick Bosa. You got Fred Warner. You got all of these players. In overall defensive rankings, the Chiefs had the 2nd best defense, while the 49ers had the 8th.
Well, you look at dudes.
You look
You're
at
looking
dude,
at
but
you're
I'm
looking at
talking-
dudes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I'm just saying
No.
cohesiveness, where it's like everyone's like, oh, the Chiefs are good, but are they this like, iron wall like the old Steelers teams or the Cowboys or, obviously this 49er squad? It's like the Chiefs are putting together some crazy numbers. I mean, they have 5 playoff touchdowns. They've only allowed 32 touchdowns the entire season. They are the 2nd overall best defense in the entire NFL. They're the 4th best passing defense in the entire NFL. And they are 17th in rushing, which obviously is, going to be tough against Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah.
But they're also the number 2 highest scoring defense, and their red zone defense is in the top 10.
I think they're still too young to be considered dudes. Like the 49ers guys have been around long enough.
Yeah, you have a Chris Jones, but you don't have 5 of him.
Right.
They just
Right.
can like strum it together. So
It's all guys drafted within the past 3 years and less.
Yeah. But again, I see it as it's like if the Chiefs can slow down and pretty much isolate Lamar Jackson, I think they can do that to Brock Purdy and Christian McCaffrey very easily.
Easily.
And again, I don't want to doubt Brock Purdy, because it's like he has been this Cinderella story his entire career. But it's definitely going to come to a point where it's like, is this the big stage that rattles him a little bit?
Yeah. No, he needs his flowers at this point.
He does.
So
but I feel like on offense for the Niners, I'm a bit less worried about, if Purdy shows up, then great, right? If he doesn't show up, I mean, you still have there's 50 feet of shit that separates Christian McCaffrey from the rest of the league, in my opinion. Like, he is just, you put him on a good team and you saw what he's been doing. It's actually incredible.
He is on a good team.
That's what I'm saying. Like you when you took him from Carolina last year and put him on this good team.
Yeah.
It's we think the 49ers aren't good. That's what I was saying.
No,
you take him from Carolina and you put him on a good team, and everybody's like, he's going to be hurt. He might suck. He has only done wonders for his legacy, as
advertised and more.
Yeah, and then you combine him with the best hybrid backer wide receiver in Debo. When he's hot, he is like, So I guess I'm less worried about Brock needs his flowers for sure, but it also helps that he has. I mean, on paper, that's the best offense in the league. They have the best offensive talent in the league.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And then Ayuk's had a really good year, and Kittle, of course. And
and Debo is Debo. But I don't know. I'm like, I don't know. I was a big proponent of Christian needs this MVP over Lamar. I think Christian is a bigger impact on his team than Lamar is, but that might be a conversation for another day.
He's probably not going to get it because they already voted before the playoffs.
No, he won't get it. And Lamar is going to get it. He's going to be MVP. But I think Christian McCaffrey, looking at getting 2,000 plus all-purpose yards, he is the MVP.
Yeah, I know. It took this to get us to that point, though. Lamar has had he deserves it, to be honest. If you just look at the regular season, Lamar shut a lot of people up. But
yeah, he deserves it when it comes to the MVP being a quarterback.
That's fair.
Award. I think if you weighed everybody equally, McCaffrey is the MVP.
I agree. It's a good segue to our props. There's a lot of wild props on the DraftKings Sportsbook right now. I think my favorite, I didn't even know they had this for the Super Bowl, but if you go to novelty props, it's the jersey number of the first touchdown scorer and the last touchdown scorer you can bet on.
Oh.
Isn't that just, it's asinine. And it's over 22 and a half. It's over under 22 and a half. Now, very important, McCaffrey is 23. Kelsey is obviously 87.
87, yeah.
I think the lower numbers, you're looking at Pacheco. If one of the QBs runs it in.
Debo.
Is Debo, 19? Right?
19, yep.
Both the wide receivers from San Francisco, low numbers, because Ayuk's 11.
Yep.
So basically, To go over that, you're making a bet on McCaffrey and the tight ends. And to go under that, you're making a bet on a run, basically, because I think Pacheco's like 10 or 5. I get him and McKinnon confused on their numbers.
Mm-hmm.
That's my just an right off the rip prop. That is fucking insane. That's some psycho shit, and I might bet it. I love the over.
Yeah, the line for the over and under it again is what?
Of the game?
Yeah.
It is 47.5. They're both pretty even right now. Like the over is minus 112, under is minus 108. I don't love either of them.
I don't love those. These are the props that I have placed so far, and I will probably place 24 more. I remember my most successful prop best Super Bowl ever was Chiefs 49ers the first time. My two biggest hits were, will Kyle Juszczyk have a reception over under half at plus money? I took the over. And will he have a touchdown, which was like plus 600, and he had a receiving touchdown, which was a massive hit. But the problem is the 49ers are too loaded with talent now that he's like irrelevant. He's not irrelevant. He's obviously makes the way for Christian McCaffrey, but he ain't scoring unless they do some trickery. So I might backtrack and put some points on him. I like, will Nick Bosa record a sack at plus 100? The last Super Bowl for Patrick Mahomes. Let's see. He was not against Philadelphia, but against the 49ers the first time, sacked 4 times. For Nick Bosa to record the sack at plus 100. So I got that. I have Chris Jones to record a sack at plus 115 because I think the Chiefs defense is going to shake up the 49ers a little bit. I have Charvarius Ward to have an interception at plus 550. I think Brock Purdy gets a little scared in the pocket and tosses one under the big lights. I have Chiefs to win in under 49.5 points at plus 210. I do like the under. I think it's going to be a close game. There was someone saying, I think this might go to a double overtime Super Bowl. That was like the news that was.
That was in the script.
If it's in the script, then it might. But I think it'll be a close, lower scoring game.
You know who it was? It was the CBS director of programming that got up there and was trying to be funny about the Super Bowl being on CBS, and that's what he said.
And then I like at plus 350 Christian McCaffrey and Isaiah Pacheco to combine for 200 plus rushing yards.
Oh, I like that.
I like that a lot. Yeah.
And then of course Chiefs money line.
Oh, of course.
I just like it's how can you bet against the Chiefs, especially at plus money?
No, like Nick Wright said, he's the greatest underdog ever.
Easily. 79% of all money on DraftKings Sportsbook is going to Kansas City right now.
Wow.
I do this.
Of course it is, though.
I do like this parlay, but it's kind of a heavy one. It's the in the zone. It's McCaffrey, Kelsey, Ayuk, and Pacheco to all score a touchdown at plus 1,100.
Also,
That's a lot.
It's an easy bet, but I would love to say Travis Kelsey, 20 plus first quarter receiving yards. Minus 1,100. Oh, minus 1110. 1110.
Minus 1110?
Yeah. What?
Minus 1110? Don't take that. We can't.
Minus.
Okay. Do we got to do some? Do we got to do some betting 101 with Jim?
Is it minus 110?
Yeah, minus 110.
Okay. I was gonna say minus 1110. We would not.
Cut it.
To win. Yeah,
cut it.
That's like, man, $10 to win 10 cents.
Yeah, minus 110. Cut it.
Okay, that's much better.
Yep.
It's like 10 to win 19. There you go.
Yep.
I like the for the Swifty section in the DraftKings Sportsbook. I'm gonna run through these, and you're gonna say if you think they'll hit or not. So these are based off of Taylor Swift songs. So this one's 22. Any quarter to have 22 plus points scored, plus 400. Yes.
I'd maybe sprinkle a half unit on that.
Yeah.
But gut
Yeah.
tells me no.
Anti-hero Brock Purdy, 250 plus yards and 2 passing touchdowns, plus 200.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Yes.
instinct tells you yes, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yes.
I would take.
Yep.
I take that.
Blank space. Travis Kelce to score an octopus, plus 3,000.
No.
What's an octopus?
When he scores all, so he scores the
8
touchdown,
points of a touchdown.
and then the 2-point conversion.
Oh yeah, no fucking shot.
Fearless. Brock Purdy, 300 plus yards and 3 plus pass touchdowns, and the 49ers to win at plus 1,000.
No,
thank you. I want
Nope.
no part of that.
Nope.
15. Pat Mahomes, 15 plus rushing yards and 215 plus passing yards, minus 140.
Yes.
I mean, that's shitty value.
It's shitty value, and it's one of those that I won't take because another prop that I lost a couple years ago was the knees, when they take the knee and you lose rushing yards.
Yeah.
Well,
it's true, but I mean, it's 15. So he's gonna rush for more.
What if he What if he only has like a 17 yards and then he takes 3 knees at the end of the game?
He's gonna run, man.
Friendship bracelets. Travis Kelce or Kyle Juszczyk to score the first touchdown, plus 600.
Ooh.
I think Travis Kelce does score the first touchdown.
No, I don't. No. I say no.
First Chiefs touchdown.
Why is Kyle Juszczyk a part of that?
Because his wife is.
Oh, that's right. She made she made that jacket.
The jacket tip.
Yeah. Gold Rush. 49ers to score 40 plus points, plus 750.
No.
No way.
No.
That shit ain't happening.
How you get the girl? Travis Kelce to score a touchdown in each half, plus 950.
No.
In each
2
half?
touchdown game. Yeah, 2 touchdown.
I'm taking
game.
that. Definitely.
I like that one.
Plus 950. He scores in the first half and then the second. That's it? Could be any quarter.
I knew you were trouble. Christian McCaffrey, 150 rushing and receiving yards, plus 160. I don't hate that.
Wait, what was it?
No, I like that one. Yeah.
150 rushing and receiving yards combined.
I do like that.
Yeah.
Is it over now? Chiefs to lead by 14 points.
I don't think
plus
so.
250.
I'm gonna say
this one obviously will not hit, but I'm surprised it's only plus 3,000. Travis Kelce, 0 receptions, 49ers to win. Karma. That would be a
4,000?
nightmare. Yeah.
No.
If he gets hurt, there's a legitimate shot, but he's not gonna get hurt.
No.
Look at what you made me do. Chiefs to trail in the fourth quarter and win the game, plus 500.
That I could get around. I could get around
Yeah.
sprinkling the other half unit that I said beforehand on that.
Love story. Chiefs to win. Patrick Mahomes and Travis Kelce to combine for all of Chiefs touchdowns, plus 2,000.
Not all.
Mahomes and Kelce to combine for all of the Chiefs touchdowns?
Correct. No, the 49ers touchdowns.
No, I'm saying so it's the same deal though. Mahomes has to run it in.
If they score 21 points, they can only be from a Holmes rush or a pass to
so he would have
Kelce.
to run it in. That's plus 2,000?
Yes.
I like that too. Wow, there's a lot of tasty stuff on here.
Mine, Travis Kelce, 87 plus receiving yards at plus 190. I think yes.
Yeah, definitely.
Let's see. Wait, let me fact check that one. Let's see. Travis Kelce career Super Bowl stats.
Oh yeah, that too.
Wow. He 43 yards and a touchdown in the 49ers one. 133 and no touchdown in Tampa Bay, and then 81 and 1 touchdown against Philly.
I was gonna say I was a lot more optimistic on that until I just heard that, and looked at his recent game logs. 71 in game 1, 75 in game 2, 116 in game 3. So it's trending in the right direction.
It's trending in the right direction. The biggest stage, all eyes on him. He's a
But
showman.
if you think about it, those games were very cold. Those first two, Miami was the coldest game ever, and the next one was in Buffalo. So maybe I'll give him a free pass.
Travis Kelce plus 5+ rush yards for plus 1,000. See, like those are just like, oh, it's only 5 yards, and then like he'll have like 1 rush for 4, and you'll just
he has 5 rush yards
more
on the year.
Yeah,
and they all came last game.
Chiefs to win by 22 plus at 1,200.
No, I can't do that.
I mean, this one's so easy. This one I'm taking. Today was a fairy tale. Travis Kelce to score a touchdown and Chiefs to win plus 240.
That's it. Wow.
Well, I mean, it's like Travis Kelce's anytime touchdown score is probably negative.
That's what I'm saying. I thought it was going to be less, like plus 1.
No, I would take that. Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, 2 is better than 1. Two successful 2-point conversions at plus 1,200.
No, there's no way.
Wildest dream: Travis Kelce to score first and last touchdown plus 2,500.
I need to
I can get around that.
I need to listen to more of her songs to know what you're saying.
And then, all right, this one's a good one. You belong with Rashi. Travis,
That's a good one.
Travis Kelce or Rashi Rice to score first touchdown in first half.
Oh, I don't hate it.
Rashi Rice. You belong with Rashi.
Yeah. Just in terms of overall anytime touchdown scorer, you got CMC at minus 215, Isaiah Pacheco at minus 120, Travis Kelce at minus 110, Deebo Samuel at plus 130, Rashi Rice at plus 130, George Kittle at plus 165, Brandon Ayuk at plus 175, Patrick Mahomes at plus 400, Brock Purdy at plus 550, both defenses at plus 600.
I was very simple, and the only wager I've played, 2 wagers I've placed right now, it's just Chiefs money line and a CMC Kelce anytime touchdown, and I think I parlayed those at like 170. Just take the low hanging fruit there.
Might as well.
And then I'm gonna go back, listen to all the things you just ripped through, see if they make sense to me to still bet in the morning, and then I'm gonna do it.
We'll clip this one up.
Yep.
I'm curious. This was the stats from last year. So 20% of the population, so 50 million adults in the United States, bet on Super Bowl props last year. Do you want to know for how much? And this is coming from ESPN's right after the Super Bowl last year. David Purdom.
Can you give the number population again?
50.4 million adults in the United States, which is about 20% of the population, gambled on the Super Bowl. They placed wagers. How much money did they spend?
12 billion.
Okay.
Oh man. How much money did they spend? I'm going to guess 2 billion.
16 billion.
Holy shit.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm thinking, I wonder when they'll release those numbers. I mean, this was the day after the Super Bowl. So again, so when you look at the numbers, it was up from 61% from the year before. Now I'm thinking with added sports books in Vegas, you're probably going to see, like, is 100 million crazy? 100 million people placing bets?
It's not out of the question.
40%
Maybe
of the
like,
US.
do you just up your logic to like they're gonna get another 50% just because it's in Vegas, and then you put it at like
100 million people gambling $40 billion.
Holy fuck!
How do you even do that math?
I don't know. So like, what I'm trying to do is get the average. So what was it? It was 16 billion last year. And then
50 million.
over the 50 million of the world. So the average gambler plays $320 on Super Bowl props. And of course, I would imagine 99% of that was the high rollers. But
yeah, I think that's accurate. Because I mean, if you said the average person bet $100 on the Super Bowl, so 200 more than that.
Seems a lot. Like in our circles, yeah, like $100 on the Super Bowl is pretty average. But like, is everyone gonna? I feel like a lot of the population still doesn't know. Like, they're probably pretty clueless to books and stuff.
See, I think now because it's so accessible, people spend money that, and again, if you have a gambling problem, go to 1-800-GAMBLER, see resources at DraftKings.com, play it smart from the start. But I do see with the accessibility now that people can gamble way beyond their means. And then you also have the folks that are, the Dave Portnoys of the world who are betting $500,000.
Right.
Mattress Mac, I'm curious if he placed a bet yet.
So
which Mattress Mac, he was like drinking lean the other day.
Yeah, there's no Texas guy in this. So
wait, why was he drinking
True.
lean?
I don't know.
Well, because he's from Houston.
I guess what else is there to do in Houston? Not much.
Yeah, I've been there, so trust me.
No, yeah, he is. He backs off his $2 million bet on the Chiefs. So he crossed path with Patrick Mahomes on the red carpet of the Kentucky Derby last year and said, "You cost me millions betting against you."
Okay.
The 2-time NFL MVP laughed and said, "Sorry about that one, but you got to be with me next time." And he goes, "I was going to bet $2 million on Kansas City to win it all. Then, like an idiot, I talked myself out of it last minute. I should have listened to his advice."
Well, he sounds like a bad gambler.
He is a very bad gambler.
Yeah.
Let's see some of his losses. He lost $9.5 million in moneyline bets on the Bengals in the 2022 Super Bowl.
Did he bet the Astros recently?
Yeah, he did.
But he also, what is it? Did 2022 the Astros win the World Series?
I think so.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
So, yes. So he lost that Super Bowl, but then he won a record $72.6 million in wagers on the Astros to win the 2022 World Series. Yeah, he lost $3 million on the money line bets against Kansas City last year, in the 2020 playoffs. $1 million on the Texans, who blew a 24-0 lead in a 51-31 loss in the divisional round to the Chiefs. $1 million on the Titans in the AFC Championship, and then $1 million on the Super Bowl when they lost to Mahomes.
Oh, he's just like the rest of us, man.
Yeah. He also lost $9 million last year when the Chiefs beat the Bengals in the AFC title game.
Can I say the worst bet I made in the past year and a half?
Please do.
Taj Bradley of the Tampa Bay Rays to win Rookie of the Year.
That's a bad bet.
That's a bad bet. Yeah. It's a bad bet.
It is pretty bad.
What were the odds on that?
Bradley, what was going through your mind, man? Are you okay?
He was hot at the start. I don't know. He was hot. I don't know what the odds were. I don't know. I just bet it.
Wow.
Baseball Rookie of the Year is so tough because you get
it is, man.
You get some like random dude who like somehow comes up in June and then is like eligible for like the rest of the year.
Yeah, dude. Taj Bradley is there since April.
Yeah,
I just love how you look at Taj Bradley and you're like, yeah, that's the fucking guy. That's the guy.
Yeah, dude, I was convinced.
Well, like baseball,
he had like two good starts.
Because like I remember, like Aaron Judge getting called up in 2016.
Yeah,
like end of July, early August, but his rookie season was 2017.
Yeah, that's right.
Right. Yeah.
So it's like,
Bradley, man.
Like Jason Dominguez, like when he comes back, I don't know if he'll like have enough time to be Rookie of the Year eligible, but like
he'll be traded.
No, he won't.
I know.
I kind of like, from a glance at Taj Bradley, though, I kind of get what you're saying. Like, he's got that Chris Archer style delivery. He throws a hard fastball. Like,
He looks like he belongs on like Cleveland
he literally might be Chris Archer.
or like what's his name? Tristan McKenzie.
Yeah, he kind of.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll circle back though. Let's say 50 million is what was 50 million people last year. Let's say it's 80 now. Let's say it goes up by 50%, and let's say they spend $400 each. You know, that number goes up by a quarter. Like, it goes up by 25%. $32 billion pot. So it doubles. The money doubles from year over year. Just assuming the U.S. population that's betting grows by 50%,
Right.
and that they're spending 25% more money. That's fucking crazy. That doubles.
That yeah.
That was how
See,
we were
is there
trying
a-
to wrap our heads around this math.
Is there an estimate on how much will be bet on the Super Bowl?
Yeah, let's see how close it is.
So Yahoo Sports said AGA estimates 23.1 billion, which is up from 16 billion.
Wow.
So we were a little close. We just had our digits flipped.
I feel like it's got to be more.
I bet you don't.
I mean,
more.
billion is a big number, but if it shot up to 50 million people,
Right, but it's like America.
true. Yeah, I mean, those Biden bucks can't go forever, so I guess money's tight this year.
Yep. Yeah, dude,
It's about as deep as we'll go politically.
Yeah, no stimmy checks to play.
No,
dude, I'm betting some.
The stimmies were coming in when we started this pod.
I'm betting some rough bucks. Yeah, trademark that. Rough bucks.
Rough bucks.
You want me to throw it on a t-shirt?
Fuck it, man. Do it. I don't know.
Rough bucks.
Rough bucks. That's what I'm betting. So.
That is. Donna's writing a note down.
Writing a note down.
He's like, fuck, I gotta do it. We need money.
Will I get to it? I don't know. We'll see.
The proceeds will go to your DraftKings Sportsbook account.
Use code BBB for not 20% off for.
Whoa, 20% off.
Whoa.
For bonus bets throughout the weekend.
I think it's time to close this show. Thanks to Megan Lanham for a great interview. Any closing thoughts, Jim? How was your first full episode?
I love it. Yeah, I hope to be here for a long time. If you guys have me,
we've loved having you here.
Cool, good. Yeah, no, I want to keep it up. So
super insightful. Any final words, Tondo?
No, great show. We'll be back next week. We will recap these prop parlay bets to see if any of them, or these prop bets to see if any of them hit. And if you find any food that looks like a 49ers logo, tag us in it, because nothing can beat that veal parmesan and the Chiefs winning it all for the third time.
And look like a 49ers plate of food. You just need like a red plate. Maybe a cake is the best.
Or if, like, I don't know, your deli order's 49.
Yeah.
I feel like, I mean, if I was, going Super Bowl shopping and picking up something from the deli and my number was 49, I feel like you have to bet it.
No, I know.
Or 87, being like Travis Kelce, anytime touchdown scorer.
Is regular unleaded gas, is that 87?
Yes.
I think it is.
I'm going to go get gas and just justify my copious amount of money that I spend on Travis Kelce bets this week.
87, but what's the gallon cost have to be something crazy?
Fuck.
I'm not smart enough for that, so
no.
Yeah.
If you have like a huge truck,
I don't know, 87, but like the total offensive yards is like $3.13. So like 313 is your total offense for the Chiefs. I would take that. I don't know if you can bet exact offensive output, but
I don't think so, but I like that.
I
Who's
like where
singing-
your head's at.
who's singing the national anthem?
Me.
I forgot who, but I know Post Malone singing "God Bless
No,
America."
it's Red or
Reba
Red.
McEntire, right?
Yes.
Reba McEntire.
Reba
Oh,
McEntire. Yep.
I feel like she's going to be slow.
Yeah, she wants to
Unders have been
soak.
hitting.
She wants to soak it up.
Right? Haven't the unders been hitting?
Have they? It was
No, I think
Chris Stapleton last year.
I think the overs hit.
Was it Chris Stapleton last year?
It was Chris Stapleton last year. I think it was the over.
I think, but
Well,
I think
Stapleton
Reba
was an over.
McEntire wants her like 15 minutes of fame.
She's got it with the what's she on? The Voice?
Is she?
America's Got Talent. Yeah. She's been a judge. She's
Oh.
the one that goes, a single mom who works 2 jobs. Is that
Yeah,
her?
she is. Yeah. Yeah.
Post Malone is singing "God Bless America," though. I am looking forward to Usher. He's coming out with his album.
I'm not, but
Friday
okay.
too. Actually, that'll be cool.
All right.
You're not looking forward to Usher?
No, I'm not. No,
Sad.
I think Rihanna was great last year.
She was. I don't think anything's going to beat Shakira and J Lo, though.
No,
I-
dude, the butt was so good.
I really,
Hopefully,
I-
Amanda didn't make it this far in the pod.
I don't know. I really liked the that one year with the 50 Cent and like the whole crew.
2022, where it was Eminem, Snoop, 50 Cent,
Yeah.
Dr. Dre.
I liked that one.
Was that the
Kendrick
one in
Lamar was
LA?
in that one.
That was in
No,
LA.
that's
LA, yeah.
Yeah.
I like
Kendrick
that one a
Lamar
lot.
being in that threw me for a loop. I was just like, wow, these. This is a lot of stuff here. And then Eminem just comes out, and I think it was "Till I Collapse" he started singing.
Yeah.
All right, that's our show. We're done.
Fuck. All right.
We're done now. We're done now. This is a very long episode. Thanks for the real ones that still stayed here. So long, everybody.
Take it easy. And I